the skyline. It's all, I mean, it's a coastal town, so the ocean's going to do what the ocean does. That's generally make fog. But, so what I want to do is I wanted to show you guys something crazy. This whole city at one point was all on fire. It was 10,000 people in Portland lost their homes. 1,800 of these buildings in Portland actually burnt down to the ground. And it was a catastrophe. We had aid from, you know, Britain, Canada, and obviously the rest of the states. But I want to show you, well, I guess first I'll go over a little, something I've learned riding around my bike a lot is that when you travel on a bike, it's tempting to think, I'm going to go put on miles and miles and miles. So you got to put on miles and miles and miles on a bike, and something you learn, well, I learned, is that you learn how you like to travel. I'm not a big guy when it comes to putting on miles and miles, you know, 500, 600, 700 miles a day. Even 300 kind of sucks. What I like to do now is, the way I'll travel from now on is I'll just take a nice, you know, nice simple riding backpack on my back, and I'll go rip down to a nice town, nice state, and just hang out there for a while. You know, hang out there for 3-4 days a week, and then go on to the next one. But I'm a lot less concerned about going all the way across the country again. You know, I'm a lot more concerned about getting to meet people, do a bunch of fun stuff, find some riding buddies, stuff like that. So take it from me, it's the long haul stuff sounds cool, which, you know, it is. It's cool to say that you did it, but it's really not what you think. It's a very lonely way to travel unless you're with some buddies. You're going to be a lot better off. You just go find a cool place, hang out, stuff like that. Because the way I'll tell you about it is if you go right across the country, you're going to drive through all these towns. My perception of most of the towns in America is just, you know, a little shithole. But if I were to stay there for a week, my opinion would be completely different. I'd say, oh yeah, no, I met all these cool people, awesome, had a lot of fun, showed me some cool local spots. So that's the power of actually being able to stop and hang out in a place. And that's what I'm going to recommend. But anyway, right now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you where this fire started. So this entire city, you'll notice something special about the city. It's all brick. It's all brick and granite. And the reason for that is because, well, it all caught on fire. Everything. They actually had horses running down the street. It was so bad. When this caught on fire, there was horses barreling down the street, and it was an absolute catastrophe, you know, because the city's on fire, the horses are scared. And when the fire actually kicked off, all this whole road right in front of me, this wasn't here. This was all ocean. And what had happened was, since it was all ocean, they parked under a nice little tree. They got all the pink pebbles on their car. So this whole road was all ocean, and this was actually the land back here, which is pretty cool. So with this being all the land, you know, and this all the water, and then they had the fire and everything burned down, they actually just pushed all the debris down here. This is all the debris from the big fire of Portland, Maine, which is pretty interesting. And right down here, somewhere down here on the right, I say right because this was water, somewhere down here on the right is actually where this whole place caught fire. And that's where it started. It started from a firecracker. Americans were celebrating their independence, and the whole place went up. Fuck it, let's go. I'll keep going, why not? So this whole place is on fire, everything's crazy. And these roads even, there was churches, stuff like that, and I guess the sound of church bells hitting the ground was so common, because what would happen is everything would catch on fire, and the church bell would just fall, make a big clang, and all that, you could literally see down these streets, church bells would melt, and you'd see a giant thing of metal, molten metal, going down the street, and that was the church bell. So you can imagine it was kind of like a demonic, hellish landscape. And hence why, again, all these buildings are brick and granite. That's it, because I can imagine after that, oopsie, you don't want to be doing that again. If all it took was a firecracker, you know? And it's pretty impressive. I've actually got some, let me see if this place is open real quick, because I would love to get some food while I'm down there. There's a wharf right here, and they have some banger food. One of my buddy's trucks, he's out doing scurvy shit on the boat. Oh yeah, hell yeah, they're open. So anyway, as you can see, very foggy day, And again, this is all, you can see how it's just one big wharf. This was never here. It's all just pilings and granite. Pilings, granite, and old burnt city. And the other cool thing is too, when they actually tried to stop the fire, they would fill up the buildings with dynamite. And when they fill up all the buildings with dynamite, they blow them up and just hope that it would stop the fire from spreading. So when they filled all this in, they didn't fill it in high enough, right? It's back in the day, they didn't have transits, lasers, stuff like that. So all they did was they just filled it in to the best of their ability. And look at that guy smoking a cig. Crazy guy. And so all this will actually go underwater. The tide comes up during some, you know, higher tides, and it'll come up and it will cover this entire wharf. So, you know, it's an extra 15 feet of water or so. This will all be underwater. Everything here is, maybe not that. This is all underwater though. Pretty interesting. But I'm gonna get some food in a minute. I am absolutely starving. What else do I have for you on this? I know I had some cool stuff to tell you about it. Let me see. I saved it on my phone. That's what I was going to tell you guys. So I told you about the horse panic, and the other thing is that all the coins melted together in the banks, right? All the coins melted together. So the banks had all these coins and cash, and not cash, you know, all their precious metals, gold, silver, stuff like that. It all melted. It was all gone, completely gone, which is wild to think of. And the other one, what was the other one? Oh yeah, this whole fire that destroyed the entire city almost, it was only 15 hours. This all happened within 15 hours. They're trying to blow the stuff up and stop this fire from spreading. So anyway, that's just one of the things about Portland, Maine. And you know, and unfortunately it has a lot of history that we don't even know about, because what actually ended up happening was that fire burned a bunch of historical records, and so nobody really knows the history of Portland, you know. But what I do know is there was Shanghai Surprise. It's like the OG Shanghai Surprise. Like, you go into one of these bars, drop through a hole in the floor, and you know, men would just get sent off as a slave, or anybody would get sent off as a slave, and you go right out to the harbor and off you went. So it's definitely a much different place than it was back in the day. It used to be much different, and now it's obviously a lot safer. I guess we'll keep going for a second. Why not? Can't remember what else I was going to tell you. There's something else. I know there was. Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to tell you guys. And again, it's so funny because I could be recording this entire thing, and it's just absolutely worthless because of the audio. But I wouldn't say I'm a gambling man, but I'm definitely a risk man. And risking coming out for 2.5 hours, getting soaked, is worth the risk of getting you guys a good video. So something about Portland, Maine that I didn't realize was so special about it until, you know, I went off and did loads of traveling, was our food here is absolutely insane. I mean, Portland, Maine has such world-class food. It's like unfathomable. You can't even believe how good the food is here. Because as soon as you leave, you know, you're done. The food's, until you know, once you leave Portland, Maine, you're going to realize that Portland, Maine is special, and they do have lots of amazing food. And that is when I went on my trip and I went through Middle America. I didn't realize it was only fast food, and I'm sure there's some little hidden gems, but I'll tell you what, I couldn't find them for the life of me, and nobody knew where they were, which sucked. You know, not having good food on a long ride sucks. It's brutal. So after, you know, thousands of miles of Middle America with fast food and shitty hotel breakfast, it was very nice to get back to Portland and eat some world-class food. But I'm kind of feeling like going to the King's Head, getting some poutine or something. That sounds good. You know, something nice, beer, whatever. It's like, I'm already down here. Hell yeah, this guy's pumped. Let's find some food, man. Oh my god. Reserved. Like, who's it reserved for? Man, that was the craziest food ever. I'll put a photo up here for you guys. Still want a photo right here. You guys want a photo?
Oh, that would be nice.
Yeah, I can do that.
Sure.
Yeah, I saw. Well, one of them's taking a photo this way. You're taking a photo this way. Yeah, it's a good spot, right?
It is.
Where are you guys from?
Argentina.
Argentina?
Yeah.
All the way to Portland, Maine, man. Good for
I
you.
live in Boston now, so.
Yeah,
So my
there
mom
you
is
go.
Visiting.
That's awesome. Yeah, let's get these boats in the background, right? So, yeah, right there's good, yeah? I'll get a good amount of them. There you go. Awesome.
Thank you very much.
Hey, you got it. Have a good time in Portland, guys. Well, that'll pretty much be it for the video. Yeah, that'll pretty much wrap up the video. I just want to show you guys. That's one cool thing about Portland is the whole place did burn down. There's a reason it's all brick. And just one of the little interesting facts, as well as, you know, my riding tip. If you're gonna go travel, just stick around to town for a little while, hang out, have fun, get to meet people, and then move on. You know, whereas the straight shot's a whole different animal.